listening to this now. Okay, so we will start on our mat, just sitting in any comfortable. No, sorry, we're going to start in child's pose today. Almost got mixed up. So, child's pose it is. So, you're just going to come to your mat and find yourself in a child's pose. You can decide if you want to bring the knees apart or have the knees tapped together. And then in your child's pose, just go ahead and reach your arms forward. And different to normal child's pose, when we get into this pose, I want you to turn your palms up as we start off. Okay, so instead of having the palms facing down, I'd like you to take your palms facing up. Okay, and then you can release your crown of the head down towards the floor. Or if you need a cushion to rest it and you have one nearby, that's fine too. Just go ahead here and allow the eyes to close. Taking a moment here to check in and make any other adjustments that may seem necessary. And if for any reason child's pose today isn't right for you, just go ahead and flip yourself over so you can lie in a resting pose on your back as well. And then take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, draw your attention inward and invite your mind to arrive and the body to settle and to ground you as you exhale. Continue taking 3 more deep, slow, and long cycles of breath. And let each inhale fuel you and fill you up with new prana, which we call the life energy, the breath. And then let go of heaviness and tension with each breath out. And after your third exhale here, go ahead now and flip your palms so that they are connected to the earth. So your palms are facing down, the tops of the hands facing up. And we do this as a gesture to really connect and ground down, trusting that you are right here and right now in the right place, and that you belong here and that you're worthy to take this time and this space for you to reconnect. And as I will guide you through today's gentle flow, I urge you still to continue listening within, listening to your inner teacher who knows best what's good for you physically, mentally, and energetically. Take one last breath here in your child's pose. And then you can keep your eyes closed as we slowly rise up to sit on our heels. So we're just going to come into a position where we sit on our heels, still kneeling, hero's pose, hands resting on your thighs. Of course, if it feels uncomfortable to keep the eyes closed, you may blink them open and just gently gaze down ahead in front of you. And before we get into moving deeper and further with the body, we're just going to wake up and find a little bit of a connection to our neck. So I want you to drop your right ear down towards the right shoulder. And then feel that stretch in the left side of your neck. And then gently drop your chin down towards your chest, your collarbones, and roll it over the front side of your body so that eventually your left ear is now directly over your left shoulder. And then we're going to go back to center. So just keep your chin close to your chest, now facing down. And then inhale, lift your gaze up, just finding a gentle movement into the neck. And exhale, turn and bring your head back to an original position where it usually rests on top of your shoulders. And then from here, I want you to look up diagonally to the right and then look down diagonally to the left. And then I want you to just trace that line diagonally up to the right and then down to the left, playing around with the position of your chin here, finding any nice stretching sensation that works well for your body today. Beautiful. And we're going to go back through center, so just level your head again over your shoulders, and then we're going to look up to the left diagonal top corner and down to the right. So same thing here, we're just going to move in that diagonal, maybe tipping the chin a little bit more down or lifting it a bit more up as you move your head up and down diagonally. Just finding whatever sensation, whatever spot feels good. As we exhale, we're going to bring our head back to center. If your eyes are still closed, you may now just gently blink them open, connecting back to the surrounding that you take in with your senses of sight, with your eyes. And then from here, take your hands and interlace your hands just where your hairline is at the back of your neck, and drop your head gently down towards your chin. And then I want you just to gently begin massaging that back area of your neck with your fingertips. So you can draw little circles with all 10 fingertips, just really stimulating the skin around your neck. Maybe you're gonna venture out around the back of your ears. Maybe you're just gonna go all the way to the tip of the ear. Maybe you can even kindly squeeze your ears with your index finger and your thumb, just kind of connecting here to the earlobes as well. And then making any massaging movements as you continue working your way up from the sides of the head. As we work our way up all the way to the top of the head, just really enjoy this little massage on your head. That's it. Awesome. And then maybe we're here for just 2 more breaths. Really just maybe you need a little bit more pressure. Maybe you just like gently stroking your hair feels good. You choose. That's it. And then slowly just relax your hands back down onto your thighs and lift your head back up. And hopefully your head feels a little bit more energized just by giving it that little rub and that little massage. From here, we're going to come onto hands and knees. So taking your hands underneath the shoulders, I want you to take your knees underneath the hips. Toes are pointing back so that your hands, your knees, and the toes are exactly in the same line. So imagining like train tracks on your mat, and you're trying to set your right and left side up on either of those tracks. Now from here, we're going to inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, find that expansion in the front body. And as you exhale, you're going to go ahead and tuck the belly in, chin to chest, rounding, pressing your shoulder blades apart. Let's do that a couple more times in your own pace. Begin to connect your breath. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, round the spine and tuck your chin in, press your hands, knees, and toes down. One more time, inhale, opening up the front side of the body here. And exhale, rounding your spine, really drawing the navel up towards the spine. And then coming back into a neutral tabletop position. Turn your hands so that your fingertips are now facing the long side of your mat on either side. And walk your hands in a little bit closer, so you just have a maybe 5 centimeter gap between the wrists. And then tuck your toes under, send your hips back, and begin to sway a little bit right and left so that you can tap into waking up through the hands, bringing a little bit more awareness into your wrists. That's it. Beautiful. And then I want you to turn your hands another quarter around so that your fingertips are now facing towards your knees. The wrists are facing towards the top of the mat. And then see if you can lean your hips closer in towards your heels. And this should really intensify the sensation that you feel in the front side of your wrists. So from here, see how far you can push your hips back with keeping your palms as much connected as possible to the ground. Let's just take one more breath here. And then slowly come back into your neutral tabletop position. Turn your hands around again, facing the top of the mat. And then from here, we're going to keep the toes tucked under and we're going to make our way into our first downward dog. So spread your fingers really nice and wide. And then lift your hips up and push your chest back so that you can really find length throughout the whole entire spine. That's it. Keep any amount of bend in your knees and just see if you want to keep it completely still or if you want to pedal your heels, alternating right and left, trying to find a little bit of a movement here, finding that lengthening stretch into the backs of the legs as well as into the side body. As much as you bend your right knee and maybe turn it and push it over to the left underneath your belly, you can feel that side body stretch in the left, and then maybe on the other side, same thing. Keep pressing down all 10 fingers. That's it. Beautiful. Neck is relaxed, ears between your biceps. And then I want you to go ahead and just keep your left foot grounded and slowly lift your right leg up, but only as high as it comes up so that your right hip and your left hip stay parallel to the ground. So probably your right leg doesn't come much higher as parallel to the ground here as well. Now you can imagine by flexing into that right foot that your right heel is pushing into an imaginary wall behind you. That means that your arms are extending even more, and maybe your left heel is pressing down towards the ground. Beautiful. Downward facing dog, three-legged dog with a nice long hold here. Relax your face, your neck, maybe add a gentle movement here, making sure you have a lot of space between your ears and the shoulders. Take one more breath as you exhale, push that right heel even further back. And then slowly take your right foot and step it to the outside of your right hand. So take your right foot all the way forward and place it on the outside of your right pinky finger. Your left leg should push back as far as possible now. And then you're just going to hang out here. If dropping your left knee down feels more comfortable, you can always go ahead and just drop and lower the left knee. Otherwise, you might want to just sway a little bit back and forth, keeping that left leg lifted, left heel lifted. And we're trying to create a little bit more space into that right hip joint. That's it. And we're trying to keep length in the spine. Flowing super slow today, really trying to listen what's happening within the joints, within the body, and noticing how that makes us feel. Now I want you to turn your right toes off to the right side. So keep your heel on the mat and just turn your right toes out in a 45-degree angle to the right. And then we're going to take a huge step with the left foot and place it in the same position on the left outside edge of your mat. So the left foot, maybe you need to take 2 steps, comes forward. And then from here, you just sway again, right and left, just working a little bit into your hips. So coming from heel to toe, toe to heel, just wiggle a couple of times back and forth, right and left. That's it. Beautiful. Just really finding a little movement here through the hip. That's good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and come into stillness, turning the toes so they face forward. And then we're going to walk the feet, just heel toe the feet in once or twice so that they're about hip width distance. Bend your knees generously and grab your opposite elbows. Let the crown of the head point towards the ground, and then gently, maybe just stay here, keep the knees bent, or add a gentle sway side to side here allowing your lower back to entirely reset, lengthen, and relax. We're gonna take 2 more breaths here. The more you transition the weight into the toes, the more you will engage that stretch in the backs of the legs. Awesome. And then from here, drop the fingertips back down to the ground. Lift yourself up halfway, slide your hands up the fronts of the shins so that you end up with a really super nice long back. And exhale, fold and fingertips down to the ground, chin to chest. With an inhale, now we're going to roll up to standing. So keep your rounding in the upper back body. Press all 10 toes down and push firmly into your feet so that you can roll up all the way. Standing up. Last thing that stacks on your spine is the head as it continues to lift. Lift your arms up overhead. Gaze up to your fingertips. And then exhale, hands to the heart. That's it. Beautiful. Now you guys can stay here. I'm just going to turn so you can see a little bit better. You can take your feet a little bit wider, and all we're going to do is just really swing the arms side to side, inviting a little bit of a rotation into the spinal column. So this should feel really nice. Whether it is the morning or the night for you, it's always a really nice way to get your spine moving, to find length and ease in those tiny little muscles that wrap around your spinal column. So you can just stay here, swinging the arms side to side, or you could make this a little bit bigger by lifting your heels and then adding a little bit of a push into your hips, really finding this little rotation or this bigger rotation you choose. Good. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come into a moment of stillness. Just let your arms hang. Maybe close your eyes and just notice what's happening. What's happening inside your head? How does your breath feel? How does your body feel? And just let the dust settle that we've stirred up by shaking, by moving. Take one more breath here. And then opening your eyes once more. We're going to lift the arms up overhead, following our fingertips with the eyes. And with an exhale, hinging from the hips, bending the knees, fold forward. Halfway lift here, flat back. Find that lift out of your front side of the chest, pushing the chest forward, drawing the shoulder blades together, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant your hands down, and then step yourself back into your downward facing dog. Good. In your down dog, maybe you can already notice a slight difference from the first one to this one. Don't worry if there is no noticeable difference. There definitely is an effect already that's happening and unfolding within. So from here, leave the right foot on the ground and lift your left leg up again, trying to keep your hips leveled. Push your left heel back and see if you can push your chest back as well, pressing your chest towards your right thigh as the left heel presses into this imaginary surface behind you. Try and keep both hands with equal weight, pressing and rooting down into the ground as your gaze is back towards the right foot or the knee to relax your back of the neck. Let's take 2 more breaths here, warming up, being patient with what your body is telling you, with what your mind might be telling you. And then from here, looking up towards the top of the mat, you're going to step that left foot all the way up to the top of the mat on the outside of your left hand. And remember, try to push that right heel, right foot as much back as possible. Maybe coming up onto fingertips here so that you can lengthen out of the tailbone, finding that straightness throughout your entire spine. And then the gaze down to the fingertips to just relax that back of the neck always. You can always imagine your back of the neck is like your face, and we don't want to add or cause more wrinkles into the face. So if we lift the head up, that's definitely going to give us wrinkles in the back of the neck. So no, never lift your face up, okay? Face down, extension in the back of the neck. Take one more breath here, or maybe dropping your right knee down feels a bit more comfortable. That's all up to you. And we're gonna next turn the left foot so the heel stays on the mat or wherever next close to your left fingertip. Your left toes turn out in that 45-degree angle, and then take that big leap with your right foot all the way forward so that you can come back into this yogi squat. This time we're going to try and release the hands from the floor so that we can connect the palms together and the elbows to the insides of the knees. Maybe with a straight spine, your flexibility in the hip allows you to come all the way into a position that looks similar to mine. If that is challenging for the knees, or just because of the flexibility and the range of motion we have in the hips, just keep your hips higher and begin pressing your elbows into the insides of your knees and your knees against the outsides of the elbows, creating strength and more rotation or ability to rotate in the hips. Now this may feel a little bit more challenging. That's okay. That's what we want. So take one more full breath in here. One more full breath out. And then as we exhale again, fingertips to the ground, turn your toes to face forward. Walk heel toe the feet in a little bit more towards center. Again, grabbing your outer edges of the elbows, keeping the knees nice and bent. Add your little sways if that felt good the first time. Or just come into your ragdoll pose, as we call this position, in stillness, allowing the stretch to unfold in the backs of the legs and allowing the lower back to decompress. Take one more breath here. And we're going to release the fingertips to the ground, finding our halfway lift. Remember your neck stays in the extension of your spine. Exhale, fold fingertips lower to the ground. Inhale, we're going to roll back up to standing, pressing down through all 10 toes. Really firmly root your feet so that you can rise up to strong standing, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Beautiful. Close your eyes here for just a moment. Notice how your breath is now flowing in and out of the nose. Continue breathing in and out of the nose here. Chin slightly tucks in towards the chest. And before we continue, let's just sway a couple of times back and forth, heel to toes, just so that we can find this connection to the feet, to the earth. That's it. And if your eyes were closed, please feel free to blink them back up to open. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Gaze follows. With an exhale, bend the knees, hinge from the hips. Find your forward fold all the way down. Again, find that halfway lift with the knees bent, lengthen, tailbone to the crown of the head. Neck stays long. And as we exhale, we're going to stay lifted and just release the hands behind the lower back, interlacing the hands. Now begin to press your knuckles away from your shoulders and hinge more out of your hips so that you can reach your arms all the way up overhead, finding a nice opening to the front of your shoulders. And again, here you're welcome to just stay or sway right to left, noticing, witnessing, and feeling into the shoulders now. Let's take one last breath here with arms overhead. Before you re-bend your elbows, lower the hands back onto the lower back. Release them all together down to the ground. Again, halfway lift, neutralize your spine. Plant your hands down and step it back into a plank pose. Now here in plank pose, it's entirely up to you if you want to make this a bit more strengthening. If you're looking for restoring, rejuvenating, and not creating any strength, I invite you to just drop the knees and hang out here. If you want to work into a little bit of a strengthening for the front side of your body, I encourage you to keep your knees lifted, press your fingers down, press your shoulder blades up, and then see if you can engage all the muscles that are running along the front side of your body. Breathing here, in and out of the nose. That's it. And again, patiently observe what your body is telling you. We're just here for 5. Maybe you can put a gentle smile on your lips for 4, for 3, and 2, 1. Bend your knees, push yourself back, downward facing dog. You can adjust your foot, right and left. Maybe stay in stillness here, working on the alignment points, keeping the hand shoulder width distance. Gaze back towards the feet, neck relaxed, drawing equal breaths in and out of the nose. Knees bend any amount so that you can really push your chest back, find length in the spine. That's it. You can bend your knees even more so that you can push your chest towards your thighs. Beautiful. Let's take 2 more breaths here in this strong down dog. And we're going to roll back into our plank. We're not going to hang out as long as we did earlier. We're just here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down to the ground. Find your tabletop position. And then from here, extend your right leg long back. Tuck your right toes under and feel that stretch into the back of the right leg. And let's take the right leg up again into the air. Press into your left foot as you reach with your right foot over your left leg to the outside of the mat on your left. Now as you stand your right foot down onto the ground here, I want you to look back over your left shoulder and see if you can bump your hips over to the right and push firmly into your left shin, so that you feel a nice opening along the right outside edge of your body. Beautiful. Let's take 1 more breath here. The more you push your hips up high, the more you get that engagement in the core, the front side of the body in as well. Last breath here. And then inhale, everything returns back to center. And we're going to step that right foot now in between the hands. So take that right foot all the way up in between the hands. Push the left knee back so you're not directly on your kneecap, but preferably a little bit more towards the top of your knee. That's it. Now from here, we're going to again try and find that length in the spine. So maybe you need to come up on fingertips. Always a good idea if you have blocks to use them for your practice as well. If you don't have blocks, we just need to work with what we have in our body. Okay? Now you're welcome to stay here. Beginning to gently push the top of the left foot down and draw the right heel back, scissoring the legs in. If this is where you're at today, please stay here. Otherwise, maybe release your hands on top of your right knee and lift your chest, adding a little bit more opening sensation into that left hip crease. Again, you observe, you choose if you want to hang out here or if you want to go ahead and release your hands and reach them all the way up overhead. Wherever you are, fingertips on the ground, hands on the knee, or fingertips up towards the ceiling, I want you to continue keeping a softness between your eyebrows and a relaxed smile on your lips. Shoulders relaxed, fingers spread nice and wide if they're reaching up. We're here for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. Next one is easy twist. So from wherever you are, your left hand is going to come back down to the ground, and then your right arm is going to reach up into the air. We're going to turn our torso towards the right side. So adding a gentle twist in the upper torso. We're going to stay here, just reaching those right fingertips up as high as we can. And then I want you all to tuck your left toes under, stay with the arms as they are, and just lift your back knee. Left leg lifts, so we're coming into this easy twisted lunge position. That's it. Good. We're going to add on from here. No worries, all easy, okay? So from here, I want you to circle your right arm and reach it forward. Circle it all the way around. As you circle your right arm back, extend into your right leg and see if you can look back towards your left toes. So coming into this pyramid position with your right arm reaching to the back of the mat. With an inhale, we're going to come back into that twisting lunge. So rebending the right knee, circling the right arm forward, all the way up overhead, opening into the right side of the shoulder. Yes. We're going to do that again. Exhale, right arm reaches forward, extending into the right leg as the right arm circles back. Looking good, everyone. Beautiful. Gaze back to the end of the mat. Inhale, rebend the right knee, circle the arm forward, and lift it up into that easy twist. Shall we do one more? Exhale, take that right arm forward. Circle it around to the ground and back as we extend into that right leg. Breathe here. Now stay with the extension in the right leg. Just drop your right fingertips next to your right foot and see if you can lift up onto the fingertips so that you can lengthen into the spine. If you need, feel free to hop your left foot up a little bit closer. Otherwise, stay here, trying to push your right hip back, left hip forward, finding nice big stretch in the back of that right leg. Yes. Take one more breath here. And as we exhale, take your hands and walk them all the way over to the left side. So we're going to walk the hands along the long side of the mat on your left, allowing all 10 toes to turn to that long side of the mat in front of you as well. That's it. So we're coming into this super wide-legged forward fold. Now take your hands and place them back so that your fingertips and your big toes line up at an imaginary height, okay? And then from here, maybe the knees bend. Press into the outer edges of the feet and allow the crown of the head to drop any amount towards the ground. Now important here is that you really press the outer edges of your feet into the mat. That's it. And that you keep your knees bent so that you can feel a stretch in the backs of the legs, but it's not impossible to lower your crown of the head down towards the ground. Not all the way, but just finding that length in the spine. Let's take one more breath here. In through the nose and out of the nose. Maybe you can draw the elbows a little bit closer together. Take one last breath here. Inhale and exhale. Walk your hands forward so they are aligned underneath your shoulders. Lift yourself up halfway so that you can come into this nice long line for your spine. And then we're going to walk the hands all the way back towards the top of the mat, turning all 10 toes to face towards the top as well. And from here, we're just going to step the right leg back, finding our plank pose. This time only for 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down. Bring your big toes to touch and send your knees out into that child's position again. Sending the hips back, knees as wide as your mat. And we're going to add a gentle twist in our child's pose. So just gently lift your head up and reach your right arm all the way underneath your left armpit and come back to lie down on your right side of the head, your right ear, and your right shoulder. So adding a needle stretch twist here so that we can feel a little bit of a stretch in the top of that right shoulder. Lovely, everyone. Let's take 2 more breaths. Coming back all the way up into your tabletop position. Bring the knees back in together. Set your hands up in front underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift your knees. Remember, long plank hold, either here or here. You choose, okay? So in your plank pose, I want you to gently press your shoulder blades up into a little bit of a dome shape, and then engage the front sides of the thighs. Spread the fingers wide. Keep the neck relaxed. You've got this. Breathing here, really finding that full activity in the front side of the body. Let's take 2 more breaths. Coming back to that patience, that observing skill. As we exhale, bend the knees, push the hips up into the air, push the chest back, finding downward facing dog. Breathing in your down dog here. Finding that pause within. Two more breaths in your down dog. With your next exhale, bring the knees down to the ground. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and extend that left leg back, tuck the toes under. Find that little sway at first, tapping into your stretching of the calf and the back of the leg. Before we lift that left leg up, pushing into the right shin, set the left foot all the way to the outside of your right side of the mat, and then pull your nose over your right shoulder, looking back at your left foot. You want to push into your left hip, and at the same time you want to keep that dome shape between the shoulder blades and push your hips up towards the ceiling. That's it. Breathe here for 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, bring your left foot back up to just lifting in a lengthy position, and then we're going to step that left foot up all the way in between your hands. Remember, we don't want to put the weight into the kneecap, but towards the top of the foot, so slide that right knee back, and then finding your version on this side, just like we did on the other, scissoring the legs in towards each other, staying on your fingertips, maybe coming all the way up to rest your hands on your left knee, adding a nice big opening for the right front side of those of that right hip crease. Maybe this is where you're at today. Feel free to hang out here. Of course, not only hang out, keep your legs activated, or release your fingertips all the way up overhead. And as you release your fingertips, relax your shoulders at the same time. Spread your fingertips wide and keep drawing that left heel back, pushing the top of the right foot down, and imagine that you could draw that right top of the foot forward. Let's be here for 1 more full breath in, 1 more full breath out. And then we're all going to bring the right fingertips down to the ground, lifting and rotating that left arm up into the air so that your left shoulder and front side of your left chest is opening up, breathing space into that left front side of the body. Now from here, we want to lift the right leg, so go ahead and tuck your right toes under and just extend out of your right knee so that you can come into this lifted, twisted lunge. Nevertheless, the left knee stays stacked over the left ankle. Your right heels are pushing up and your left hip is pulling back towards the end of the mat. Good. We've got this settled, locked in. Before we add our little dynamic sequence, we're going to rotate the left arm forward. And as we continue rotating that left arm back, we extend into the left knee. Left arm reaches back, gaze towards that right foot. We're going to come back into our easy twist, rebending the left knee, bringing the left arm down, circling it forward, and lifting it up into that rotation. Continue. As we exhale, left arm reaches forward, torso turns to the ground, extending the left leg. Left arm reaches back, gaze to the end of the mat. We inhale, rebending, circling that arm all the way up, finding that space in the front of the body. And as we exhale one last time, circle the arm all the way around and back, extending into your left foot, left knee. Now keep your legs as they are. Drop your left hand down so you're framing your left foot with the right and the left hand. Maybe you need to step that right foot up a little bit so that you can lift out of your chest and lengthen into your spine. Super intense stretch for that left back of the leg. Continue pressing firmly into your big toes so that you don't roll onto your outer edges of the feet. We're here for one more breath. And then from here, we want to come into that wide-legged forward fold. So I'm just going to turn so you don't have to look at my backside. Walk your hands to the right and walk them all the way over so that you end up in this nice forward fold, all 10 toes facing the long side of the mat in front of you. That's it. Now from here, place your right hand directly underneath your face, and we're going to go back into that twist, lifting the left arm up into the air. Maybe coming up onto the fingertips allows you to lengthen your spine even more, finding that nice opening here through the left side of the shoulder. Exhale, we're going to switch. Left hand comes down. Fingertips connect as we inhale. Right arm reaches all the way up and into the air. Beautiful. Taking one more full breath in. And as we exhale, you're going to bring your hands down and walk your feet back towards your left foot so that you end up facing the front of the mat again. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to step that left leg back, sorry. Knees drop down, knees as wide as your mat, big toes connect. Send your hips back into your child's pose. And then right away, slide your left arm underneath your right armpit so that you can come into this needle variation of child's pose here. You want to really release the top of that left arm, top shoulder, reaching the right arm forward, resting temple and left side of the head down to the ground. Take one more breath in here and one more breath out. Inhale brings you all the way back into your tabletop position. Keep your knees as wide as the mat. Tuck your toes under and then walk yourself back into a squatting position. Good. Now from here, again, we're just gonna gently sway a little bit side to side. Really working into the inner groin area, the inner hip area. So instead of having the feet wide, we're now really going to work into that inside of the hip. Beautiful. And then if you're like me at the end of your mat, let's just come a little bit forward. So maybe just taking a couple of wobbly steps towards the center of the mat. And then from here, you're going to take your hands behind you and lower into your seat. The feet stay close to each other. So I'm just going to come towards you. Soles of the feet stay connected, and you're just going to place your hands around your feet. Now, the closer you bring your heels in towards your hips, towards your groin, as we begin to fold forward, the more of a stretch you will feel in the insides of your hips. If you push your feet out away from you and then fold forward, That stretch will transfer a little bit more into the outer hips. So you choose your distance of the feet. You can play around as we lean forward and just gently sway side to side by how far you want to push your heels away from your body, where you want to feel that stretch. And whenever you feel satisfied with the distance of the heels away from your body, you're just going to go ahead and allow your chin to tuck into your chest. With a gentle rounding of the upper spine, your head comes lower and lower down to the ground. Don't worry if you're more of this version, that's fine. It gradually develops of how far we can fold forward. Okay, so wherever you are, just acknowledge your part of this journey. Wherever you're at is perfect. We're going to stay here for just 2 more breaths. That's it. And then from here, we're going to roll back up into a seat. And we're just going to go into boat pose for a short moment, finding a little bit of integrity into our abdominal muscles because they are the ones that help us with an upright posture. So I want you to hold the backs of your knees, feet are parallel out in front of you. And then we're going to lean back so the arms extend. So your back is still nice and long. But at the same time as we lean back, we feel how the feet become super light. So we can lift them off and into the air. Now try to keep your chest and your heart lifted, your spine nice and long, your shoulders relaxed. Remember, your neck stays the extension of your spine. Push through your feet. And maybe just hang out here and notice that engagement that surely you will feel around your navel. If you want to take it a step further, maybe release your hands just parallel to each other with your palms flipping up. And we're just going to be here in boat today, nothing fancy, just really trying to connect to that power, to that center of our body. You can gaze towards your feet and lift your chest a little bit higher. Maybe you can feel this quite a lot in your hip creases. That's okay. The more you practice, the more core muscles you will develop so that your core muscles will take over eventually and your hip creases can relax. Let's take 1 more breath here. Awesome, ladies. And as we exhale, we're just gonna come into a cross-legged seat. You choose which leg comes out in front of you. And let's sit up nice and tall, stretch that front side of the body. And as we exhale, we're just gonna take it into a gentle twist to the right. So your left hand comes to the right hand behind you. Lift your chest, lift your collarbones up, and then see if from that space of length you can rotate and twist a little bit deeper towards your right. Finding space with each inhale, length in the spine, and exhale, taking yourself into your rotation, your twist. That's it. Inhale, coming all the way back to center. Lengthen your spine, coming from a place of uprightness. We're going to twist over to the left, right hand onto the left knee, left fingertips behind you. And again, lengthening, inhale, exhale to twist. Stay here, repeat that. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. And one last time, inhale, crown of the head pushing up. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, coming all the way back to center. And then from here, you guys stay here. I'm just going to show you. Take your fingertips behind you and then lift your chest, your gaze up. Really push your heart forward so that you can open up through that entire front side of the body. Shine through your heart. Shine into your chest. Keep your chin close to the chest. And 1 more breath here. And then allow yourself to find a comfortable seat. Once you have found a comfortable seat, if you have a block, feel free to elevate your seat so that you can sit a little bit, or if you have a cushion or a blanket that you can prop underneath your hips, go ahead and do that. We'll be here in this position for a few minutes as we transition from our active part into the resting. We're gonna use a breathing technique to get into the right state of mind so that we can truly and fully enjoy our Shavasana. So whenever you're ready, coming into your Sukhasana easy seat, you can close your eyes. Hands can rest on your thighs, palms up or down, or you gently just place one hand into the other, resting in your lap. Continue breathing here, allowing your full awareness, your attention to come back to the body. And notice how you feel right now, right here. And all that is moving right now is your ribs and maybe your belly due to the inhalation and exhalation that washes over your body. So continue focusing, allowing that breath to fill you up. And then to let go as you exhale. Soften through your jaw. See if you can relax your tongue away from your palate. And bring more softness into that spot between your eyebrows and the area of your forehead. And then let's all tune into the same breathing rhythm as we take a big breath in. And a full breath out. Once more, big breath in. Breathing out. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath, which we call kumbhaka. And exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. Breath retention. And inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. And exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Now return to your natural, normal breathing rhythm. Checking in if there is another space, another area in your body that you can invite more softness into, that you could release any residual tension from. And then from here, with as few movements as possible. Feel free to transition onto your back, coming to lie into Shavasana. Please make sure that if it's cold wherever you're practicing, that you add another extra layer, maybe put on some socks, maybe grab a blanket, and then entirely roll down onto your back body. Whenever you're ready to extend your legs out long, your arms alongside your body, go ahead and make your way into Shavasana here. Once you have found your way into your Shavasana, observe and feel and let go of what no longer serves you at this point of time. Maybe you can recognize distractions around you, any sounds or any distraction within your body or your brain, your mind. And then maybe today you can choose to simply recognize those distractions as distractions and be okay and comfortable with whatever is happening right now. You choose if you want to follow and give in to any of those distractions or thoughts coming up, or if you decide to let them go and lovingly guide your attention back to your breath each and every time one of those distractions come up. Shavasana. I'll guide you back in a couple of minutes, so please enjoy and relax. Stay where you are and just focus on taking your breath in through your nostrils and allowing your breath to exit through the nose again. Just 2 more rounds of connecting to your breathing as we breathe in and out through the nose. And then let the first movement that you make with your body be a simple turn of your head to the right, a head turn over to the left, Coming back to the center, reaching your arms all the way up overhead, finding a full body stretch. And maybe as you're here in your stretch, you want to wiggle into your toes and open and close your fingers. Returning back into a comfortable position on your back. Go ahead and draw your knees in towards your chest. Holding your knees with your hands close towards your body. And then give yourself a little sway side to side, a little rock. That's it. Perfect. And go ahead and then roll all the way onto your right side of the body. Take one more full breath here as you're lying on your right or your left, doesn't matter. Either side is fine. And see if you can keep your eyes closed, making your way back up into any comfortable seat of choice. Take your time to come back into your seat. Once you arrive there, see if you can find length in the spine, and then draw your hands together at your heart. And to close for today's practice, let's take our hands to the forehead for clarity of thought. Take your hands to your lips for loving communication of speech. And then take your hands to your heart, bow your chin to your chest, and remind yourself for consistency of action, allowing your practice to guide you always through everything that you say, you think, and you do. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining today.